I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to switch fountain pen nibs. Most of this will apply to people that are using kit pens, kit makers. So there's generally two types. I'll cover the first type, which is the easiest. This is a typical section that's going to come with like a gentleman's pen, Havana, some of the others. This is the nib that I want to put in to this section here, and it's simple. You simply unscrew. You've got the housing, take the new nib, and screw it in. It really is that simple. Just so you know, if there is a converter attached, you should detach the converter because the converter will have a grip on the rear of this housing, and it just, you're not going to hurt anything, but you might as well pull that off. Or if the section is attached to the pen, remove the section, remove the converter, and then do this procedure. Now, where it can get complicated or a little bit more involved is when you have sections like these that are friction fits. There is no internal housing inside here. You can't unscrew this nib. So in that case, taking this nib and putting it into this friction fit housing, this is how we're going to do this. What you're going to do is just simply, I usually use the fatty part or the second knuckle of my index finger and my thumb. I'm going to pinch like this so that I get a hold of the feed and the nib, but I'm not touching the tines. That's fairly important because when you're removing nibs and when you're swapping nibs, if you bump these tines, you can change the alignment, you can completely change the writing quality. So all you're going to do is pull. There's the nib, there's the feed, and there's the section. So this, I feel, is important. Keep the original feed that came with your friction fit section and use it. A lot of times these feeds are made specifically for these housings. It's usually a better bet to keep this feed because it was made to fit this. Now, here's the nib that we're going to install. You're going to do the same thing. You're just simply going to pull it out. Might as well keep the feed, even though we're not going to use it, and then this simply slides into the new nib. Okay? I recommend you never throw away feeds. One thing that you can find is that from time to time, you may find that the newly installed nib isn't a perfect fit. It might be a little loose, it might be a little tight. It's always nice to have extra feeds so that you can try different ones. The Chinese made and the Indian made and Taiwanese made nibs and feeds are generally not great quality control, but that can be to your advantage. The reason is that now, first of all, they function perfectly fine to get ink, down the channel and to the nib. But because the quality control can vary on the thickness of the feed, it's always a good idea to keep those because some feeds are, maybe 0.003 fatter than the next one, and you can use that to your advantage just in case you've got a fit that is a little bit too loose or a little bit too tight. It doesn't happen very often. It's a very low percentage, but it does happen every so often. So hang on to your old feeds. You can always use them in case there's a tight or a loose fit. I never recommend, I've heard some people say that if the nib is too loose, bend it. I never recommend that. What you're going to do is you're going to change the splay of the tines and the pen will not write well. Okay? Thank you.